Hello everyone. Buddha was black. Yes, take it in. Buddha was black. I started reading this biography of Gautama Buddha, and to my shock, I learned that he wasn't actually what most of us will perceive, will take for granted, that okay, he was an Indian, typical Indian native, tribal Indian person, Aryan, like you will say. It was a shock to me because I'm not Buddhist, but I love Buddhism, and I pick up things from time to time and learn from that and practice. And I'm very happy for everything that it has brought to me so far. But this goes to the point of perception and communication, and the way reality is misrepresented and transformed to look a different way. I think it has been happening in every aspect of our life, and a lot of false messages have been communicated for thousands of years. There's a broader point here, but I want to stick to Gautama Buddha. I learned that Gautama Sakyamuni was actually a guy from a small tribe that considered itself, get this, superior to Brahmins. They didn't respect, they didn't pay tribute, they didn't bow to, they didn't recognize Brahmins as the superior caste of the Indian subcontinent. In fact, they considered themselves as the superior caste, the superior tribe of the Indian subcontinent. There were black people that settled on the sides of the Himalayan mountains. These are historical facts. If you dig deeper than the prayers and the postures, you will find those things, because I was shocked. That's why I'm recording this. He clearly didn't look like these sculptures present him. These pictures and sculptures represent him, because his tribe had they were first known as dark-skinned people that were uncultured, uneducated, unsophisticated, but that considered themselves as the descendants of the sun, of a sun god, and they worshipped the sun. That's where Gautama Buddha comes from. Another fact that really struck me that I didn't know until I started reading this: there had been previous Buddhas before him. There has been previous enlightened people. So reading this biography sort of got me excited, because you find that the guy was a very ordinary gentleman. Probably not so ordinary because he was upper middle class. He was from the high society, not the son of a king, but the son of an aristocrat, really enjoying all the good stuff that the son of an aristocrat can get his hands into. All the good stuff that you can imagine, he did enjoy. So that makes me look at Buddhism from a different perspective, as an enlightenment, as in a different perspective. Like, it's not something that is completely out of reach. It's not something that you need to be pure from the outset. You need to be celibate and all those things. You can be whatever you are right now and start making your way into, appreciation of your deeper self, up to the point where you touch the light progressively, and stay right on the sweet spot. I mentioned the sweet spot before. So this Buddha was a Sakya. The Sakya were a small tribe that were not Aryans. They didn't have those features of the Aryans, the average Indian person, because they were marrying within the family. Actually, his mother was the cousin of his father, and his wife was his sibling in that level of closeness. So they were literally keeping it in the family, like the European royal families are doing right now. So I found that really exciting. I don't want to make this really long, but imagine that how differently you will think about Buddhism if you learned that this man didn't have these features, didn't look like this. He was actually dark-skinned. He was on the margins of the wider society. His tribe was on the margins of the wider society. Their practices were very different from the general Aryan society, whole subcontinent, the way the whole subcontinent were run and ruled, the structures. 2400 years ago, the tribe, the nation where this guy comes from, was on the margin. They were different. They had their own system of worshipping. They had their own way of looking at the world. They have a self-rule system, actually, but even though it was an aristocracy, but there was a certain form of democracy where the rich will sit around the table and decide who is the next rich to rule. Well, it sounds a bit like what is going on right now, except that we have the feeling that, okay, we have our little say until those that are up there decide eventually who's going to organize the game. But yeah, just this thing made me think differently. I know that there has been religious and philosophical thought systems in the Indian subcontinent for thousands of years before that, and to realize that Gautama Sakyamuni, which means the wise man of the Sakyas, of the Sakya tribe, just popped from a really small family, tribe, outcast caste, if you like, and rose to prominent, touched in a level of attainment, of understanding that made us get to know him 2,600 years later. So you don't have to be one of the majority, one of the ruling lot to become something. You can be really what you are. And the few other things I learned about his tribe are quite interesting. They were sun worshippers. They were closer to nature than to some sort of, spiritual and religious philosophy that has come to exist. And looks like when he started thinking and talking and rising to fame and prominence, it was at the same time that the Greek civilization was coming into full bloom, when most of the big civilizations were either already in existence or coming into shape to come and impose themselves into our current reality. So our modern world, our current world, sort of got created got reinvented 2,600 years ago or so. A few guys, Ptolemy and I don't know, Buddha and Aristotle and the the Jewish religion became more of a solid, coherent system around the same period. It's interesting. Don't you think it's interesting? Well, I thought it was. I thought it was interesting enough so that I can share that thing. If you like this, please hit the like button. Please subscribe so that next time I have some exciting discovery to share, you are on top of the list. And please share this video with your friends. Thank you very much. Have a good day.